Welcome to the fourth lecture of circuits in transient state. In this lecture, we are going to study about the Laplace transformation with respect to electrical circuits and then initial and final value theorems. So Laplace transform is a topic you all must have studied in your mathematics, and if not, you are going to study. And also there is one more subject called signals and system, where you are going to study about all these transform from time domain to frequency domain in signals and systems. So talking about the Laplace transform, it transforms the time domain signal into a special kind of a frequency domain signal and basically used for stability analysis. So let me quickly write the formula of conversion of the time domain signal into frequency domain in Laplace transform. So Fs is equal to integration of 0 to infinity. Ft is your function, and in the case of networks, it can be either a voltage function or a current function, e to the power minus st dt. So this is the standard formula of converting any function, time function, into Laplace transform. So here S is having a value of sigma plus j omega. Here omega is the frequency in the signal, and sigma is a parameter which defines the bounds of stability of any particular system. So this all you are going to study in detail in signals and system, and further its application in control systems. So let me write some of the important functions and its Laplace transformed versions, and you have to remember all this before we can move forward in this class. So there is a function called delta function. Delta function is basically defined as an infinite value at time t is equal to 0. So delta t will have a value of infinite at time t is equal to 0. So, and at all other places of time scale, it will have 0 value. So this is called a delta function, and its Laplace transform will be 1 or unity. Similarly, there is a function called unit step function. We can represent it as ut, and its Laplace transform is 1 upon s. So ut is defined as a function which is having a value of 1 for all the times greater than t is equal to 0. So this is our unit step function. It is very important because in the formula you can see that your time starts at 0 here and goes to the positive times till infinity. So in all the time domain functions, we will by default multiplying this particular ut function to make them a function which starts at time t is equal to 0 and then goes onwards. So let me write one more function, e to the power at. So here I have written e to the power at, but by default we will assume that ut is also multiplied. So in the other functions I am not going to multiply ut, but e to the power at ut is by default multiplied in this function so as to make it a positive function, or a function which is having some value only after time t is equal to 0, and for all other time negative values it will be having 0 value. So e to the power at ut will be 1 upon s minus a. So one thing you can see that ut was having a value of 1 upon s, and if you multiply it with e to the power at, what happened to s is s has been subtracted by a. So similarly, if you have e to the power minus at ut, you can simply assume that this will be 1 upon s plus a. So whatever is the coefficient of t in the exponential of e, we will have it subtracted from the s value of any function. So for example, if you multiply e to the power at, let me call it as plus minus, it can be either plus or minus at, to any function ft, then you will have a function f of s minus plus a. So why minus plus? Because when this was plus, the a will be subtracted, and if this is negative, then a will be added. So let us quickly go to other functions. There is a function called sine t, sine omega t, and sine omega t will have a Laplace transform as omega plus s square plus omega square. And I don't have to tell you that ut is automatically multiplied. I'm not showing it here. So if you multiply e to the power plus minus at to this particular function sine omega t, then what it is going to become, omega upon s. In the place of s, it will become minus plus s plus a. whole squared plus omega square. So you can see that s is replaced by s minus plus a. Similarly, there is a function called cos omega t, and its Laplace transform will be s divided by s square plus omega square. And if you multiply similarly as the previous case as e to the power at in cos omega t, what we will get? We will get s minus plus a divided by s minus plus a whole squared plus omega squared. So these are some of the functions you must be remembering so that it will make our life easier to go into this particular lecture. So there is one very important property of Laplace transform, that if function ft has a Laplace transform of fs, then its derivative dft upon dt will have a Laplace transform sfs minus f of 0 plus the initial value of this function ft. So this you have to remember, and this is very important property of Laplace transform. So based on this property, uh, we uh, we got a theorem which is called initial value theorem. So what is initial value theorem? Initial value theorems gives you a formula or a way to calculate the initial value of any particular function. If it is voltage or current, you will be able to get the initial or starting value when the time was zero, or the time was starting. So according to the initial value theorem, f of 0 plus, matlab initial value of function f will be equal to limit t tends to 0. Obviously, limit should be tending to 0 for a time domain function f of t. But in the Laplace transformed domain, it will have limit s tends to infinity, not tends to 0, s will be tending to infinity, s multiplied by fs. And fs is what? Fs is the Laplace transform of ft. So this is a very important formula you must remember to calculate the initial value of any function, whether it is in time domain or it is in frequency domain. So let us do some examples to understand it more clearly. Now, if we talk about this example, we have to find the initial value. So we apply the initial value theorem formula, which will have limit s tends to infinity s multiplied by fs. So what will happen if you multiply s in this function? This s and s will be cancelled out. So s into s plus 1. So you will get this form. So s and s will be cancelled out, and obviously limit s tends to infinity will be there. So if you put s into infinity, there you will get a form of infinity by infinity, which is not desirable. So what you can do is you can take all the s's common from all these brackets outside. So what you will get is you will get s square taken out from the nominator, and you will have 1 upon s plus sorry 1 plus 1 upon s multiplied by 1 plus 3 upon s divided by, so I've taken s from all these brackets outside. So we will get s square here also outside, and this will be 2 plus 2 upon s multiplied by 1 plus 4 by s. So this s square will be cancelled out, and obviously there will be limit s tends to infinity. Now if you put s tends to infinity in all these s values, this will become 0, this will become 0, similarly this and this will become 0, and all you will be left with 1 into 1 divided by 2 into 1, which is 1 by 2. So your initial value of this particular function will be 1 by 2. So this is how you calculate initial values. So let us do one more example to make our understanding more concrete. Now we have to calculate the initial value for this particular function in which delta t is given. So only by just the site, you can see that at t is equal to 0, this delta t function has a value of infinity. So there is no way you can find initial value of this particular function, because if you just write limit t tends to 0, this function ft will be limit t tends to 0, 3 plus delta t. If you put delta 0, this will become infinity, and so this is not defined, right? So in any function, when this delta t term comes in the time domain, there is no way you can find the initial value. So what will happen if you take the Laplace transform of this function? you are going to get Fs is equal to this 3 I am assuming as 3 into ut. You will get 3 upon s plus what will delta t become? It will become 1. So either in the time domain function if there is a delta function, or in the Laplace domain if there is a constant term. In that case, there is no way you will find final initial value, right? So initial value cannot be found. So if we can rearrange this function, we will find that 3 plus s divided by s. So what you can see that the power of s in the numerator and power of s in the denominator are same. So in this case, what you can do is you can just take this constant out, right? By the rearrangement of your numerator. So let me give you a rule. In any function, Fourier transform function, if the power of numerator is greater than or equal to the power of denominator of s, then in those cases you will not be able to find the initial value theorem. So you should write this, that for initial value theorem to work, the power of s in the denominator must be greater than the power of s in the numerator. So this is the basic rule for finding initial value theorem. Now talking about the final value theorem, the final value of any function will be equal to limit t tends to infinity ft, or if you talk about the Laplace transformed version, it will be just opposite, limit s tends to 0 s multiplied by the fs, where fs is the Laplace transform of ft. So this is the final value theorem, which is very important, and you must remember this formula. So let us do some examples. So for this example, we have to find the final value. So just apply the Laplace transform formula, limit s tends to 0, s multiplied by fs, which will become limit s tends to 0, s multiplied by s plus 1. So s and s will be cancelled out, and if you put s is equal to 0 in all this, you will have 1 into 3 divided by 2 into 4. So you will get 3 divided by 8. So this is your final value of for this particular example. Now let us calculate the final value of one more function. Ft is equal to 3 plus e to the power 2t. So can you just imagine its graph in time domain? What will it look like? So let me just draw it so that to give you a real picture of this. So at time t is equal to 0, what will be the value of this function? It will be 3 plus 1 is equal to 4. So this function will start from somewhere here. And at time t is equal to infinity, it is exponentially going towards infinity. So this function will look like this. So at t is equal to infinity, this function is going to have infinite value. So can you calculate the final value? Definitely not. It is not possible to calculate the final value because it is going towards infinity. It is not going to stabilize at a particular value. So, yes. So if we can write this function in the Laplace transform form, what you will get? 3 ut will become 3 upon s plus e to the power 2t ut will become 1 upon s minus 2. So if we can write it in more like a compact form, so we will get 3 into s minus 2 plus s divided by s into s minus 2. So what you can see that in the denominator, if you are having a multiple which is having positive roots, so this s will what are the values will these s provide? S is equal to 0 and s is equal to 2, which is plus 2, right? So when s is having positive roots, which you will get to know in control system that the roots of this particular function are lying in the right hand side of the s plane because the roots of s are positive. This is positive. So in that case, your final value theorem cannot be applied. So for final value theorem to be applied, your function must be converging to a particular point, either 0 or at any particular constant. So what will happen is you will have negative roots. So if suppose this was e to the power minus 2t, In place of s minus 2, it would have been s plus 2. So what would have been its root? S is equal to 0 and minus 2. So now you are having a root which is negative. And if a Laplace transform function has a negative root, then the function is said to be a stable function, right? It's a stable function, or it is bound. It will converge to a particular point. So final value theorem will be applied. So this is a very important rule. For any Laplace transform function to have a final value, the roots must be in the left hand side of the s-plane, or the roots must be negative, not the positive roots, right? In the terms of final value theorem and initial value theorem, quickly, I also, especially in the final value theorem, I also want to give you one more type of function. Suppose ft is sine omega t. So what will be its Laplace transform value? Omega upon s square plus omega square. So how will this function look like in time domain? It will look like this, and it will go continuously like this to the infinity. So can you tell me if this function has a final value or not? You cannot, because for infinite time, this is going to be oscillating between +1 and -1. So even for the sinusoidal functions like sine omega t and cos omega t, the final value theorem application is not possible. Clear? So the first case was where the roots were positive. In that case, the function will be unbounded. So in that case, and in the case of sinusoidal functions, it is not possible to get the final value. I, but this function is not unstable. This is being stable between +1 and -1, but it is not going to stabilize at a particular constant. So this kind of function is called um, they are not completely stable or unstable. They are basically oscillating, right? But bounded. Now let us see the Laplace transform of electrical circuit elements like voltage, current, R, L, and C. So suppose there is a resistive circuit, simple, uh, whose value is R. The current is flowing IT, and you have applied a voltage source VT across it. So what will be the Laplace transformed version? So you know that Vt is equal to It into R, where R is the constant. Clear? So you can say that the Laplace transform of It, you can write it as Is, and Laplace transform of Vt, if you can write it as Vs, then definitely the Laplace transform of this whole equation will be Vs is equal to Is multiplied by R. Since R is a constant, it is not going to make any difference in the Laplace transform function. So for resistive circuit, it is practically going to be exactly the same as the time circuit. Now, if we talk about inductive circuit, what will happen? This is L, this is It, and this is Vt. So in the case of inductive circuit, we know that VLT is equal to L dit divided by dt. Okay, so you have to take the Laplace transform of both the sides. So you will get Vs or VLS will be equal to L. And using the differential formula that we have discussed earlier, you will get S Is minus I0 plus, where I0 plus is the initial value of current in the inductor, this current, right? And what is VL? VL is basically the voltage across inductor. So you can write it as like this: VLS is equal to LS IS minus Li0 plus. So you know that I already told you that S is equal to sigma plus j omega, right? So now in this cases, in this transformation cases, we will just take S is equal to j omega. Clear? Not sigma, because we will assume that it is under the stable condition. So we can write it as VLS is equal to, let us write this S as j omega. So we will get j omega L into Is minus Li0 plus. Now, can you tell me what is j omega L? J omega L is nothing but the value of XL or JXL. So this is your JXL is equal to J omega L, right? So this is basically representing this term as the impedance of this particular circuit. So this circuit was the time domain circuit, and if you want to write the frequency domain circuit or the Laplace domain circuit, you will have to follow this particular formula. Here, I0 plus is the initial value of current which was there in this particular inductor. So how will it look like? This is basically a KVL equation. You can see there where VLS is the source, and this represents the inductor whose value is JXL, which is multiplied by the current IS. And then you have to subtract the voltage value, since this is a voltage equation, whose value will be Li0 plus. So we can draw the Laplace transform version of this particular circuit as this will become Vs or VLS. So let me write it as Vs only, because obviously uh, this VL is basically equal to VT. Na? Both the voltages are same. So either you write VL or Vs, doesn't matter. Both are same. So VL and Vs are same. So let me directly write this as like this. And the current which will be flowing is definitely Is. Then here you have inductor whose value is XL, and here you have to add one voltage source which is opposite, since it is having a negative sign, right? So this voltage drop will be like this, which is VL, but this voltage drop will have to be like this, and its value will be Li0 plus. I0 plus is the initial value of the current in the inductor. Clear? So this is how your um, inductive circuit will become in the Laplace transform domain. So this Li0 plus terms becomes very important. Suppose if the inductor was discharged and there was no current in the starting, then this term will be cancelled out, and in that case you will only have this inductive term. So in that case it will be exactly similar to the time domain circuit. Clear? Now let us talk about the capacitive circuit. So suppose if you have sorry, we actually missed one point. Uh, Let me discuss that also before we move to the capacitive circuit. We had this equation, right? Vs is equal to j omega L Is minus Li plus. So we had this equation. I have just written back j omega to the s directly. So either you write jxl or you can just write ls, right? So you can directly write ls. So if we rearrange this equation and find this equation in terms of Is, what we will get? We will get Is is equal to Vs divided by Ls plus I0 plus divided by S. This will become our equation 2. And since this is the equation of current, this can be regarded as a KCL equation. So if you want to draw a circuit regarding the current equations, you can draw it like this. There is a current Is and then Vs upon Ls, right? Vs upon Ls. So it will be representing an inductor across which the voltage Vs is there, and this is Ls, and then there is a current source uh, whose direction will be like this, because they are both in addition, both are having a positive sign. So if this current is going inside, this will have to also be going inside. So we will have a current source whose value will be I0 plus divided by S. So that time domain circuit, this particular circuit, in the Laplace domain, you can draw two circuits based on this KVL equation, which will be like this, and based on the KCL equation, which will be like this. So these are the two options you have. Also, from the equation 1, this was Vs and this was Is. So if you want to calculate the Zs of this whole particular circuit, so what is Zs? Zs is equal to basically Vs upon Is, and it will be equal to, if you divide whole thing with Is, you will get Ls minus Li0 plus divided by Is. So this is the impedance of this Laplace transform circuit in which the inductor was initially charged to a particular current value of I0 plus. Now let us talk about the capacitor which was initially charged to some value. So in that case, we can write IT is equal to C dVt upon dt, right? So this is the basic capacitor current voltage equation. So if you take Laplace transform of this particular equation, you will get Is is equal to C S Vs minus V0 plus. Here V0 plus the initial voltage across this capacitor. Clear? So if you can rearrange this equation, let me go here. So if you rearrange this equation, we will get Is is equal to Cs Ps minus V0 plus. This can also be written as Vs divided by 1 upon Cs, and you know that S is equal to J omega. So it will be similar to 1 upon J omega C. So what 1 upon J omega C represents? It represents the impedance of a capacitor minus CV0 plus, right? So you get a KCL equation of this form. So if you want to draw a circuit using this equation, the circuit will look like this. There is a current source whose value is Is, and either you can represent a current source or you can just show the current in the branch like this, Is, and then there is a capacitor across which the voltage is Vs using this part, and also if this current is going in this direction, then here you have to take a current in opposite direction because this negative sign here, and its value will be CV 0 plus, right? So this current source will have a value of CV0 plus, whose direction will be opposite to the current which is going in the capacitor because of this KCL equation. Now we can rearrange this equation number 1 in the form of KVL also. So all we have to do is we have to write the equation in terms of Vs. So what we will get? We will get Vs is equal to Is into 1 upon Cs minus V0 plus divided by S. Not minus, it will become plus, sorry. So this is our equation number 2, and this is in the form of KVL. And if we want to draw our circuit using this, so this will be the voltages. So we can draw it like this. So the voltage across this whole circuit is Vs, and then we have a capacitor which is basically represented by 1 upon Cs. Here also I write it as 1 upon Cs, and then there is a voltage source whose value is V0 plus divided by S. But now you can see that the direction of voltage drop across capacitor and this particular voltage source is going to be same because of having both as the same sign. This is also plus, right? So this is the circuit which you will get after converting a time domain capacitive circuit into a Laplace domain capacitive circuit. So in the case of, if you draw it in the form of current circuit, then there will be a current source CV0 plus added, whose direction will be opposite to the direction of current in capacitor. And if you write it in the terms of voltage, you will get a circuit like this, in which a voltage of V0 plus upon S will be added, whose polarity will be same as the voltage drop across capacitor. So these are very important findings for inductor and capacitor. And remember, for the resistor circuit, the circuit is going to remain same. Now, let us quickly also write the term for Zs for this particular equation. So from here we have got Vs. Vs is equal to Is into 1 upon Cs plus V0 plus upon S. So you know that in this particular circuit, this is your Is value, this is your Vs. So what is going to be Zs? Zs is nothing but going to be Vs upon Is. So we will find Zs is equal to Vs upon Is, and from the above equation we will get 1 upon Cs plus V0 plus divided by S into Is. So this is our equation of impedance of any capacitive circuit which has been transformed into the Laplacian form. Now we will go and see some examples, and thus we will complete our today's lecture. Now let us see the first example to solve using Laplace transform circuits. So in this we have to find the value of Vs. Find the value of Vs when it is given that inductor current, the current in the inductor, this one, let me call it as IL0 plus, or let me call it as IL. So IL0 plus is given as 2 ampere, and the voltage across capacitor, let me call it as VC. VC0 plus initial value is given as 3 volt. So these are the data given, and you have to find the Vs. And what is Vs? Vs is the Laplace transform of this voltage Vt. So let us first make the Laplace transformed circuit of this particular time domain circuit. So only you have to remember is that for both the capacitor and inductor cases, we had drawn two types of circuits. One was parallel circuits, which were having current branches, like parallel branches, and one were having a series branch in which there was a voltage source in series with either inductor or capacitor. So since this is a parallel circuit, we are going to apply KCL, and also we are going to convert these inductor values in the parallel circuits using the previously the equation that we just read. So can you tell me the equation of this inductor? How will it become when we see these consider these initial value of the current through inductor? So remember the previous slide, you will see that a simple inductor in time domain was converted to uh, a Laplace domain circuit like this, whose values will be Ls, and there will be a current source whose direction will be same as the direction of current in the inductor, and this was our Is, or rather ILS you can say, and this was your VLS, and this current source was having what value? It was having I0 plus divided by S. So your inductor will be converted in this form, in the parallel form. And what about the capacitor? The capacitor will also be converted like this. And there will be a current source whose direction will be like this. Its value will be CV0 plus, and this will be 1 upon CS. Clear? So this is how you will convert your capacitor and inductors in the parallel form, and there was also a series form, so we will see in the next example. So let us go to our original circuit. So actually I did this in the previous slide itself. So here I have written you how inductor in the time domain will be converted to this in the Laplace domain, and how a capacitor will be converted to this kind of circuit in the Laplace domain. So let us come back to our example. So here we have already have the I0 plus and VC0 plus values. So we will just transform this circuit into the Laplace domain circuit. So can you tell me this resistor 2 ohm will be nothing but 2 ohm itself, because R remains same. This will be 2. What will happen to this voltage source whose value is e to the power minus 2t? Since ut is not written, we will by default consider that there is a ut. So this voltage source can be converted simply to, what is the Laplace transform of e to the power minus 2t? It will be 1 upon s plus 2. Clear? Then coming to this inductor will be converted to a parallel form of this circuit. There is an inductor and there is a current source, and this current is having this direction. And what is the inductor value? Ls. L is already 2 Henry. So you already have. So you can either write Ls or you can write just 2s. You can also write 2s. And what is the value of this current? This current will be I0 plus upon S. So what is I0 plus? It is 2 ampere divided by S. Now moving forward, we have to convert this capacitor, and to convert this capacitor you will have to make a parallel arrangement of circuit like this. What is the capacitor value? Nothing but 1 upon Cs. And what is this current value? It is CV0 plus. So V0 plus is how much? 3 volt, right? It is 3 volt. So multiply by C. So it will become C into 3. Now going further, let me delete this particular branch. So there is a 2 ohm branch. So this 2 ohm will be remain same 2 ohm. Then there is a dependent voltage source whose value is dependent on this current IT. So IT will become basically IS. So that is why this 2IT will become 2IS, directly converted into the Laplace domain, and this remains 2. And finally, the current source, this 2 ampere, we will, since this is a constant, we will assume it as 2 into UT, since we are assuming that the time starts at 0. So this will become 2 divided by S. Or in some cases, you can also consider this as just a constant 2 ampere. Uh, I don't know if this question is completely written or not. So I'm just going with 2, because if it is explicitly written as 2 into, sorry, 2 into UT, then after taking the Laplace transform, definitely it will become 2 by S. But in some cases, you can also consider it just as a simple constant 2. So if it is a simple constant 2, it will remain as 2. Clear? So it will totally depend on the question, how it is asked. So I think in all the questions, it will be going to be defined whether it is 2 UTR or just the 2 constant value. So let's come back to the question. This was Vt. So if we convert it into the Laplace, it will become Vs. And let us take this node as our reference node. So now we can write KCL equation and simply find out all the values that we want. So we had to find Vs value. So now it will easily be calculated. So let us write the KCL equation. So if you see for the first branch, the KCL equation will be Vs minus 1 upon S plus 2 divided by 2. Plus Vs divided by 2S. Since this inductor value was having impedance of 2S, so we divided Vs upon 2S. And then there is a current source of 2 by S. So we will just add it as 2 divided by S plus Vs divided by 1 upon Cs. For this particular capacitor, we will have Vs divided by 1 plus Cs, 1 upon Cs. And then since the current direction is going upward, we will write minus 3 times C. Then for this branch, we will write plus Vs minus how much? 2Is. 2Is divided by how much resistance? Resistance is 2. So it will be divided by 2. And this whole thing will be equal to how much? It will be equal to this 2 ampere current. So it will be equal to 2. So if it was 2 UT, you could have written it as 2 by S. Okay, that doesn't matter. It will be specified in the question. So solving this particular equation, you also know that what is the value of IS here. You can also find an relationship between Vs and Is by using this branch. So let me write that equation also. So this equation will become equation 1, and then Vs minus 1 upon S plus 2 divided by 2 for this branch. For this branch, it is nothing but equal to Is. So you have two equation and two unknown. After solving, you will get Is is equal to Vs minus 1 upon S. After solving this, you will get some value of Vs, right? So I'm not going to solve it. You just solve it in your homework. So you will get the value of Vs. So let's go to the next example. Now coming to the second example, if you can see the circuit, you have to find the value of IT for t greater than 0. So we have to solve it using the Laplace transformation method. So first of all, we have to see the initial condition or initial values of voltages across these capacitors. So initially for t less than 0, the switch was here at A point. So this capacitor would have been charged in the steady state to a voltage of 10 volt. So let me call it as C1 and let me call it as C2. So VC1 at initially or at 0 minus was how much? 10 volts. So obviously the capacitor does not allow sudden change in voltage. So VC1 at 0 plus or initially when the switch is now changes to V point also will be 10 volt. Similarly, when the switch was at A point, this whole capacitor was open circuited and there would have been no voltage. So VC2 at 0 minus is equal to VC2 at obviously 0 plus also would be 0 volt. So now we have got the value of VC1 and VC2. Now we can easily convert this circuit um, into a Laplace transform circuit. So at time t is equal to 0 plus, this whole circuit in the time domain would have been like this. Sorry. So this is your C2, this is your C1, this is your 1 ohm, and this is your time domain circuit, and this is your IT current that you have to find. Now to convert this circuit into the Laplace transform domain, we have to convert these capacitors into Laplace transform capacitor. And would you take the parallel form or series form? You have to take the series form because this is a single circuit, single series loop. So how is the capacitor converted into the series form? It will be a series combination of a capacitor with a voltage. The capacitor will be having a value of 1 upon Cs obviously. And what will be the value of this voltage? It is nothing but Vc0 plus divided by S. Just revise the previous slides, right? So we can convert any capacitor in time domain to the Laplace domain using this particular series circuit. So let us quickly draw the Laplace domain circuit of this particular circuit. So we will have a capacitor in series with a voltage source. I will draw the voltage polarity later. And then we have the second capacitor and there is one more voltage like this. And since this capacitor was initially uncharged, there was 0 voltage. So we don't need to write this particular voltage. So it will be 0. Vc2 0 plus was 0 volt. So it will be a 0 volt voltage source. So we will just short circuit it. And what was the value? It will be 1 upon C2S, this value upon 1 upon C1S, and this is basically 1 ohm. IT will become IS. And since in this circuit, when the time was less than 0, the voltage drop across this C1 capacitor was like this. So if you draw the equivalent circuit of this capacitor and if you draw the voltage source in the Laplace transform circuit, the polarity will be same as this VC. So here also you have to take the polarity like this. So its value will be how much? Its value will be VC0 plus which is 10 volt divided by S. Clear? And obviously, if the current is going in this direction, the polarity should be in the upward direction, as it is obvious. So now all we have to do is we have to just write the KVL equation and the circuit will be solved. So write the KVL 10 upon S minus IS upon C1S. And let me write the value of C1 also here. What is the value of C1? It is 6 farad. So 6S minus IS into 1 ohm minus IS divided by what is the value of C2? It is 3 farad. So 3S is equal to 0. Now we just have to solve this and we will get the value of IS. So what we will get? we will get Is is equal to 10 upon S 10 upon S divided by 1 upon 6S plus 1 upon 3S plus 1. Isn't it? 1 upon 6S plus 1 upon 3S plus 1. Yes. So rearranging this equation, we will get Is is equal to 10 upon S plus 0.5. So now you have got the value of Is, and what you had to calculate? You had to calculate It. So It is nothing but Laplace inverse of Is. And what is the inverse Laplace transform of this? What does it resemble? It is basically e to the power minus, this is since 0.5, so 0.5 t ut. You can either write ut or you can just leave it because it is understood. It should have a ut in it. So this is your function of It, right? So this is how you will calculate. Now in today's last example, we see this circuit. In this circuit, we have to find the It for t greater than 0. So you can see that there is a switch across this 3 ohm resistance, which is closed right at t is equal to 0. So before t is equal to 0, it was opened. So can you calculate the I0 minus when the switch was open? What was the steady state form of this inductor? It will be short circuit, right? In a steady state, an inductor works as a short circuit if it is across a DC voltage source. So it is short circuit and there will be a 3 ohm and 2 ohm in series. So the current at 0 minus time would have been 10 divided by 3 plus 2, which is equal to 2 ampere. So I0 minus was 2 ampere. Right after you close the switch, and since the inductor does not allow the sudden change in current, so obviously current at 0 plus would also have been 2 ampere. Clear? So why it is important to calculate the initial current across the inductor? Because we just studied that for converting any time domain inductor into the Laplace domain, we need the initial value of current in the inductor, and in case of capacitor, we would need the initial value of voltage in the capacitor. So now since we have got our initial value of this thing, let us draw the circuit for time t greater than 0. So this is our time domain circuit for sorry, this will be short circuited, right? Since this switch is on after t is equal to 0, this 3 ohm will be short circuited. So we will be left with only a 2 ohm resistor and the inductor itself, 1 Henry, 2 ohm, 10 volt, and the current which will be flowing is It. So now we have to convert this circuit into Laplace domain circuit. So how will you convert this inductor into a parallel circuit or in a series circuit? Definitely, since this is a one single loop, we will convert this inductor into the series formation. So any inductor whose inductance value was L would be converted into a inductor in series with a voltage source of opposite polarity. Suppose I is going in this direction and the drop will be in this. So the inductance value will be basically Ls, and this will be how much? This will have a value of Li0 plus. Clear? So this is how you convert any inductor into a series inductor for Laplace transform circuit. So the Laplace transform of this circuit will be like this. This is Ls. Since S is L value is 1, so it will become only S. And what was the I0 plus value? It was 2 ampere. So Li0 plus will become 2 into 1, which is equal to 2 volts, right? So the polarity was not this. Polarity would be like this. And this is 2 ohm itself. Now in this question, let us assume this as a 10 volt into ut. Remember in that case, we just assumed it as a constant, that 2 ampere current source in that particular question. Generally, if it is not specified, you can just directly assume it as 10 into ut, or if current source, then whatever the current is multiplied by ut. So in this case, now let us take it as 10 upon s, because you know that 10 ut Laplace transform will be 10 upon s. Clear? So let us write the KVL equation here, and this IT will be written as IS. So it becomes very simple that 10 upon S minus 2 IS minus IS into LS, or S will become S. And since there is a plus sign, minus sign here, so it will become a plus sign here, plus 2 equal to 0. So after solving this, we will get IS is equal to 10 upon S plus 2 divided by 2 plus S. So if we solve it for IT, we have to take the inverse Laplace of IS. So we will have to take the inverse Laplace of what was the outcome? 10 by S plus 2 upon S plus 2. Let me rearrange it also. So we will get Laplace inverse of 10 plus 2s divided by s into s plus 2. So to calculate the inverse Laplace, we have to take the partial difference, we have to divide it into the form of 1 upon s plus 2, and so on. So it will become Laplace inverse 10 upon s into s plus 2 plus 2s upon s into s plus 2. So this s will cancel out. So it will basically be 2 upon s plus 2. And this 10 upon s into s plus 2 can be like divided into a upon s plus b upon s plus 2, which will basically equal to 10 upon s into s plus 2. And you already know the mathematics how to solve it. So after solving it, you will get a is equal to plus 5 and b is equal to minus 5. So this whole thing can be converted into 5 upon s plus, minus 5 upon s plus 2. So you will finally get uh, Laplace inverse of 5 by s minus 5 upon s plus 2 plus 2 upon s plus 2. So this will become Laplace inverse of 5 upon s minus 3 upon s plus 2. So now it becomes very easy. You know, the inverse Laplace of 5 upon s will nothing but be 5, because 1 upon s is ut. So 5 upon s is 5 ut. So I'm just ignoring the ut. So I will get 5 minus, and this is 3 upon s plus 2. So it will basically be 3 into e to the power minus 2t, right? So this is what, this is our IT value. So this is how we can finally get the time domain version of the current. So what do you understand from all these three examples? If you have to solve any circuit which has some transients, or which has the energy storage elements like capacitor and inductor, which has some initial values, so in order to convert them into the Laplace transform domain, you have to only keep this in your mind, that you have to first find the initial values of the inductor current or the voltage across capacitor. And then depending upon the needs, if you want the parallel form of the transformed version or the series form of the transformed version, you just have to uh, convert the inductor or capacitor in those parallel or series form using the initial values of current and voltages respectively. So I'm just going to write the summary quickly of those inductor and capacitors, and this will be helpful for you to solve other and some more examples, which I recommend you to solve from the books I have recommended initially. So you can see the summarized way of converting inductor and capacitor whose initial values of current was I0 plus and V0 plus respectively. So this is your series circuit, this is your parallel circuit for inductor, and this is your series circuit, and this is your parallel circuit for capacitor. So you only remember this and you will be able to solve all the questions of transients using Laplace transform very easily. Thank you very much.